If you're looking to add a bit of depth to your wardrobe, to enhance your basics, build those foundations, and find your staple pieces, then you really need to start with a good t-shirt. Now there's dozens of videos out there talking about the best tees you can buy, and it usually just comes down to Uniqlo because it is great value for the money. But if you're like me at all and you want to be confident that the clothes you buy are sustainable and they're made with ethical labor, then you may be having a hard time finding companies you can trust, especially when big brands like Dior just got caught manufacturing their clothing in sweatshop-like conditions for pennies on the dollar. So it's clear that not even designer labels are safe from fast fashion types of labor. So I did the research and I bought tees from 7 of the top sustainable fashion brands from around the world to see which one is worth your money and can give you that peace of mind. And in order to find some of these brands, I really looked on the website Good On You, which provides sustainability ratings to hundreds of the top global fashion brands. So if you want to do more research on the sustainability of different brands after this video, go check them out. But with all of the tees that I bought that I'll be trying on for you, I've washed them and ironed them. So yes, that does mean I will not be returning any of them, so my money is on the line here as much as yours. And for reference, I'm very short at 5'5", 135 pounds, and a bit of an athletic build. So the first tee we're going to look at is from Outerknown. It's the Sojourn Tee in a size small for $58. And right off the bat, you'll notice how soft the fabric is. It looks and feels smooth and very premium. I also really liked how they added ribbing on the sleeve hems, which allows the sleeves to hug your arms a bit, giving it a nice shape and a bit of dimension. And it tucks really nicely due to the great drape of the fabric as well, and overall it feels great. The shirt is made from regenerative Organic Pima cotton and is finished in small family-owned shops in Lima, Peru. The brand Outerknown works with many different nonprofit organizations, they own their facilities and run on renewable energy, and they have labor standards aligned with the Fair Labor Association. I had heard of the brand prior to making this video, so I was really curious to try out the quality of their tees and their clothes in general. And this is a great premium feeling tee. However, the small complaint I have about this shirt is that it's too long. Part of that's my height, but I expected a size small to be a bit shorter, so I'll have to keep it tucked in unless I want to get it hemmed. And another thing about this tee that I wasn't too happy about was the fabric. It just felt pretty thin, to the point where in some lighting you can actually see pretty clearly through to my chest. Now, while that is a bit of a complaint, it is expected with this shirt though, because Outerknown describes it as a light, breathable, and unbelievably soft tee, so you wouldn't go into this thinking that it's a thick shirt at all. This tee would be great on hot summer days when you want to have that elevated look while also staying cool and don't mind the thinness of the fabric. The second tee we're going to take a look at is just called the T-shirt from a brand called Asket. It is 100% organic cotton and it retails for $55. The one I'm wearing here is a size small with a regular length. And yes, that means you can actually choose your size and the length separately, a feature I absolutely loved. And this small regular length shirt fit me very well. I can easily wear it tucked or untucked. The fabric is super smooth and is made from extra long staple cotton jersey, meaning it's durable, it feels silky while not having that sheen, and it looks great. And I really like the fit of the sleeves as well, because it's one of those tees where you can just roll your sleeves up and get that classic James Dean type of look, which I'm a big fan of. The fabric isn't as thin as the Outerknown tee, but it definitely still isn't thick. To be exact, it's 180 GSM, so it's in that medium weight range, which I like. And the brand Asket really appears to be dedicated to sustainability. They don't have rotating seasons of new clothes, they just have one permanent collection. So they design timeless garments meant to be worn forever. They also have full transparency throughout their supply chain, and they even tell you on the garment label exactly where each stage of production was completed. And as an additional incentive, they offer a credit for sending your old products back to them that you can use towards new garments. So if I send this tee back to them, I'm actually wearing the Asket one right now, if I send it back to them, they'll give me $5 in credit towards a new garment. And if I bought a piece of outerwear, I would get more credit because it'd be more expensive. All around, I really love this tee from the fit and the fabric, and I also love the brand's commitment to their sustainability and those credits for sending your clothes back. And also, if you have trouble finding correct sizes for you, I highly recommend it. I really loved being able to choose the size and the length of the garment. Now the third tee is probably from the biggest, most commercial brand on the list, Everlane. This is the essential organic crew neck tee retailing for $30. I got this shirt in a medium based off of their size grid, but it was definitely too big for me. Right off the bat, you can see that it's quite long. And as someone on the shorter side, I could not wear this if I didn't tuck it in. But even when I tuck it in, it just looks like there's too much fabric, especially in the back. So I'd need to get it hemmed. I could crop it if I wanted a little bit oversized crop look, or I could just exchange it for a small. So definitely buy your typical size, unless you want to size up for a more relaxed look. The fabric is very comfortable, it's soft to the touch, and it's not too see-through. And I really appreciate their attention to detail because they create the white tees with a thicker yarn in order to increase the opacity of the shirt and prevent that transparent look. And it's also available at that lower price point of $30 or $60 for 3. The construction's good, and I liked how they added the bias tape on the back of the neck to increase durability and reduce the amount of warping that you'll see over time around the neckline. A feature that was actually missing from the previous tees that I mentioned, even though they're at higher price points. But Everlane also values transparency and was built on it. They audit all of their factories to ensure compliance with labor standards and wages, and they also release annual impact reports so you can see exactly what their sustainability goals are and what they're doing to achieve them. And they're just very open about areas of growth that they're still working on. Because I'd be kind of concerned if there was a company that said they can't do anything more to be more sustainable. But all around, this is a great everyday tee, comfortable enough for lounging around in or wearing out. I recommend trying it. I think I'm just gonna end up cropping mine for a boxy cropped look, which I don't have in my wardrobe currently. Next on our list is from a brand called Harvest & Mill, who I had never actually heard of prior to researching for this video, but I'm very glad that I did, because I absolutely fell in love with this t-shirt. Not because of the fit, because the small is still definitely a bit long on me, but because of how incredibly soft this shirt is. And that's the first thing you'll notice when you unwrap and pick up this shirt for the first time. Then the second thing you'll notice is how the color isn't pure white. It's more of an organic, natural white, because the cotton used to make the shirt is unbleached and undyed. What you're getting is the natural color of cotton, with all the little specks and seeds still in there, adding a bit of character and dimension to the shirt that I think is really unique, and I haven't seen it in many other shirts on the market. Now, when looking at the fit, it's definitely more relaxed, and for me personally, I've been wearing this almost every night as a lounging shirt. Since it's too big for me to wear just like every day, tucking it in creates just a bit too much volume, there's a bit too much extra fabric there, and I could get it altered, but I really don't want to because I'm gonna keep this as my nightly lounging and comfy shirt. It's hands down the softest tee that I own and probably the softest tee that I've ever felt. But in addition to the physical qualities of the shirt, on the Harvest & Mill website, they really want you to know about the external impacts of your clothing as well, and how you should think about that impact when building your wardrobe. So they list out the different types of consumption that it takes to create each individual garment, putting into perspective the impact of your purchase, while also lending some trust and transparency to their mission of wanting you to build a wardrobe with sustainable, long-lasting clothing. They're a completely vegan company, they don't use any chemical dyes, and instead prefer to just use the natural color of the fiber as the color of the garment. And one thing that really stood out to me with Harvest & Mill was that their entire supply chain is located in the US, because another big part of their mission is to bring manufacturing back to the US, which I appreciate. And they're entirely carbon neutral as well. So all around, a great option for tees if you're looking for a natural, more relaxed look and want to be just incredibly comfortable. Harvest & Mill was definitely one of my top picks here. And honestly, you just have to touch this shirt to know what I'm talking about. However, it is on the high range of prices at $48, so you'll have to determine if that's in your budget. Now we'll go across the world to a brand out of Canada who produces their clothing in Egypt, and they're called KOTN, a brand I was introduced to a bit over a year ago actually when I was on the hunt for Egyptian cotton clothing. And Egyptian cotton you don't really see very often outside of bed sheets. So this company caught my eye with their sustainability claims, their commitment to high quality materials, as well as improving the communities of their workers who make the garments. The tee I bought, the Men's Essential Crew, is made out of 100% Egyptian cotton jersey at 150 GSM, so it's on that light to medium weight range. The small fit my upper body pretty nicely, but I would have preferred it to be a bit shorter. They do have an extra small, but I think that would have been a bit too tight across my shoulders. But being made out of Egyptian cotton, the fiber is considered extra long staple fibers, which is the highest classification of cotton fiber, which makes it very strong, durable, and smooth while not having that silky sheen to it. And I really preferred the look of this shirt when tucked in. I think the drape of the Egyptian cotton fabric really lended itself well to having that nice tucking quality. It didn't feel restrictive at all, it was quite flexible and comfortable to move around in. I also liked that collar construction with the bias binding on the back of the neck. Now, as I mentioned, cotton is all about improving the lives of their workers and the communities that they live in. And in fact, cotton is a certified B Corp, the only one in this video. And what that is a certification for companies who meet very high standards of social and environmental performance, transparency in their supply chain, and accountability for their practices, which is a pretty big achievement for a fashion brand. I encourage you to look more on their website about how they empower their workers, fund children's education in Egypt, and promote transparency in their supply chain. There's a lot of great info there. And this is definitely a company to consider supporting if you're looking for high quality garments and sustainable practices. I really enjoy this tee and I'll be wearing it a lot. The second to last shirt we'll be looking at is from a brand called Pact, a certified fair trade company, so you know that their working conditions are safe and their workers earn a living wage, and that money from each sale goes directly back into the communities of the workers who made the garments. Pact is also completely carbon neutral, so they offset all the emissions of producing their garments. The tee I bought from them was their standard soft-spun crew neck in white, and is actually the least expensive tee on the list, coming in at $28. Now I'm beginning to think the problem with the fit of a lot of these garments is with me and the fact that I'm just too short for a lot of them, because I felt like this size small was also too long. But when everything is too long, I am the common denominator. So if you're taller than 5'5", this will probably be fine, and all the other shirts will probably be fine as well. I also wish the collar would lay a bit flatter against my body. I noticed that it just wasn't as fitted as I was wishing it to be, but when you also have a more fitted collar, the easier it will warp over time. So it's a give and take. And the other thing I wasn't too excited about with this shirt as well is it was just a bit too thin. It felt great, but the fabric was just a bit too lightweight for me, so I'd probably use it more as an undershirt. Or maybe if the weather is just super hot, as it is pretty much every day now, then I'd wear it as a super lightweight and breathable garment, and just deal with it being a little bit transparent to lower my body temperature. But other than that, the fabric felt very luxurious, very smooth and soft, which is pretty common for every shirt I've talked about in this video. I knew that the quality of the cotton and the feeling of them would all be pretty soft. The only brand that really deviated from that ultra smooth quality was Harvest & Mill, who went for the soft, cozy, and fuzzy feeling instead. But this one from Pact is lightweight, it looks nice, especially when tucked in, with the sleeves rolled up, that classic James Dean look, which I mentioned before, that I really like. And the company appears to be very ethical with their fair trade certifications, their organic certifications, and more. But if you're looking for a lightweight, breathable shirt, maybe you live in New York right now, maybe New Jersey, maybe Miami, and you need a super lightweight white tee, this is a good option. Okay, this video would not be complete without talking about the most coveted t-shirt out there right now. The perpetually sold out, elusive, body contouring, artisanally crafted, iconic tee made famous by Lip after getting super ripped and learning how to cook a Michelin star meal. The Merz B Schwannen 215 loop-wheeled 245 GSM tee in white. And you may be asking, Jansen, how did you get your hands on one of those white tees? They're perpetually sold out everywhere. And I'll tell you, I got it at a small store in Montclair, New Jersey called Grayford's, which you might recognize if you've watched the Emma Roberts Architectural Digest house tour, because she talks about a vintage garment that she got there as well. And if there's one thing I have in common with Emma Roberts, It's our love of great heritage clothing. But this shirt honestly is pretty awesome. Now, one thing you need to know before buying a Merz B Schwannen shirt is that it will shrink between 1 and 2 inches after the first wash. And that's just due to the nature of the historic heritage loop wheeling technique, where the garment is knit in an oval shape using really old artisanal loop wheeling machines, which gives the garment not only a great fit because it doesn't have any side seams and it's shaped in an oval like our bodies, or like an oval cylinder. I'm blanking on what that's called. But it also creates a really nice slubby texture that you really don't get with any modern production method. And this was definitely the thickest shirt of the 7 brands I bought from, and is pretty much completely opaque. You don't need to worry about that. Now, because this shirt was the most expensive on the list, coming in at $90, I will nitpick it a bit. I wish the collar would have stayed a bit more flush to my body. It's quite a structured tee, so it holds its shape very well, but you'll find it coming off of your skin a lot, which also lends to kind of the artisanal nature of it though, so you might really like that. But if you aren't used to that and having a more structured shirt, it may not be for you. You might become very aware that you're inside of this shirt, if that makes sense. With some normal movements, moving your arms around, it may feel a bit like the shirt is fighting against you, resisting you in a way. Now, that tells me that it's a well-made shirt. It's not thin, it's structured, it's really substantial, but that may not be what like a casual shirt enjoyer may want in their daily piece of clothing. This is not like a shirt you'll find at H&M or Uniqlo, Zara, anything like that. It is artisanally made, it's very high quality, and it's just a really confident shirt. But also something that bothered me with this shirt, it might be a nitpick, but whatever, is that my right sleeve was warping a bit towards my armpit. I noticed some stress lines going towards the armpit, and I could feel that something was off there, which tells me that the workmanship for my right sleeve was a bit lower quality than the workmanship on my left sleeve. And that's not really something most people would notice. They might notice something is like a little bit off, but I'm in a lot of fashion fittings. I work in fashion, so it's something that I was very aware of. And while it's a small issue, you are paying $90 for a tee, so I don't think it's too much to ask for. But what about the sustainability of Merz B Schwannen? Everybody knows that it's the famous shirt from the bear, but how are they a sustainable company? Well, Merz B really approaches sustainability by crafting timeless, long-lasting pieces artisanally. So to them, sustainability is more than just using organic materials, which they did. The shirt is made out of 100% organic cotton, but their designs are just very timeless. They're made using historic methods and machines. They've already stood the test of time, and they will continue to do so. And these products are made in Germany by skilled artisans. It's a craft. And if you approach shopping from that perspective, which I've always really liked to do, to buy something that will last years if you properly take care of, and hopefully it will never break down, then I do believe the price of these shirts are worth it, but only if it's in your budget. It feels great, the construction is overall pretty great except for that little nitpick with the arm, and I think it looks great on me. I don't look exactly like Carmi in the bear, but I am filling it out pretty well. I am getting back to the gym. But if you get it, don't expect to look exactly like Carmi unless you already have that physique or are willing to work for it. I wear my other Merz B shirts a lot, like constantly, so this one will definitely find a good place in my wardrobe. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe and consider joining the Patreon to support me further. I'll see you next time.